Okay, people, I'm back with part 2 of finding your research using the academic databases. And I want to say that I am using Red Convertible as an example, but you can follow along with any of the other stories. In other words, I just went through Mega Search. But now I'm going to go down to articles and databases. Here, let me actually click over here. You'll see I've got to click on articles and databases now. And I'm going to put in one particular story, but you put in your own story and you follow along as we go along. So I'm going to go databases by subject or title. This is one of the things that's changed a lot since my last video. The way that the website is set up is different, but the databases are the same. It's just the way that you approach them is different. So I'm going to go to databases. All right, now I am going to go to all subjects and I'm going to go down to literature. It says there are 11. All database types. Yes, I want both of those types. All vendors, and it's going to tell me what vendors Pima has. And yes, I want both of those. And now I'm just going to go to search. Oh, okay. And now it's going to show me that 11 databases were found for literature. Now I'm going to tell you the ones that I normally go to. You can use any of them. And in fact, if you're having trouble, definitely use any of them. But I'll tell you where I start. I generally use the Gale Resource Center. I generally use this one, Gale Literature Resource Center. And I generally use Reference Center Plus, Literature Criticism. So I'd say those are the three that I use probably the most. But again, you can try any of them you want. But I'm going to go back to Gale Literature Resource Center. Now remember, this was the one we couldn't find through Mega Search because it wasn't showing that Pima had access. But now it is showing because it's under a different who knows what. So now I'm going to type in the Red Convertible. And again, quotation marks are a must because it keeps it all as one thing and not just the color red. So the Red Convertible short story. All right, and you remember we couldn't find Explicator. Again, this is the article that we couldn't find through Mega Search. Now we're finding it through Gale Literature Resource Center. So now I want to show you that it says that in here, let me see. I'm going to go to Explicator right here and open this one because I do know that Explicator is usually quite good. It's the same as Explainer. It figures it out for you. All right. And it's going to give, these are all essays written by different people on the story. And so the essays approach the story in different ways. And so I'm going to show you how to look through this right now. And so it's going to give us a little bit of a summary, but this one's really good about, again, focusing on Western culture and how Native Americans have been inculcated with Western culture and in a way abandoned their own culture. And as it goes on, there's going to be some really interesting stuff. I mean, the color in this whole thing is red, right? Well, what is red? Red's a convertible, but red is also blood, isn't it? And so you're going to actually find the symbolism of the blood in the story in this article here. And it's going to go on down, and this is a great article. It has some really good, interesting ideas that you might want to use. Okay, and so this is our notes, and here's our citation. All right, but now we have to make sure it's in MLA, and in this one it is. Here's our citation. Okay, and there should probably even be a place that you can email it to yourself. Oh, yeah, it's going to be up here. Send to, so you can email it, or you can download it, or you can cite it. All right. But now I'm going to go back. So I'm going to let you read that one. That's a good one. And now let me go on down and let's see what else is here. Aha! Post-colonial theory and the undergraduate classroom. All right, so there, I don't know what that one is, and I'm not going to go into it right now, but you certainly may. If a title speaks to you, go into it. If it doesn't, you're saying, I don't even know what this means, just ignore it. That's okay. You've got plenty of choices. All right, here's another critical essay, and it's talking about symbolism. The important symbolism is the car. What is the significance of which changes as the story unfolds? So the symbolism of the car. This one is about the 3 journeys off the Chippewa Reservation. Even using the journeys as, I don't know, symbols or turning points in the story, like in our hero's journey, maybe. Here's another one. It's mirroring Edridge's background. Okay. Here's another one. Now this one goes off topic. This one is not that story. So there's 3 or 4 in here that I'm going to be interested in looking at and reading and using. Any of these are good ones for the annotated bibliography. This counts as your research. Now I'm going to go out of this one and I'm going to go to another one. So again, if you're finding great stuff for your story, wonderful. If you're not finding great stuff, don't get discouraged or get frustrated, because now we're going to go to another database, and that database might have what you need. So we just looked at Literature Resource Center. Now I'm going to go down to another one that I use, and I'm going to try Reference Center Plus. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put in the red convertible again. Aha! Now I've got, look at this, I've got 155, it says. Who knows how many of them are really going to be good ones, but I happen to know that Masterplots is a very good one. So I'm going to click right here on HTML full text. Well, this one I could even listen to. All right, here's my story. Here's my themes and meanings. These are always the important parts, themes and meanings, style and technique. Now let me just go back up here and say, what if I hadn't clicked on that HTML? If I had just clicked right here, what would have happened? Maybe the same thing. Nope, yep, the same thing. But sometimes it'll look like it's a dead end, that there's nothing there. That's when you want to go over to the left and look for the full link. Okay, so here's going to be another good one for you. All right, this looks like a good one. I haven't read it and I'm not going to. These right here are reviews of the book itself. So when it says right here, reviews, these are, you'll see it's a review of the book. Here's a review. Those probably are not going to be my best choices. Here is more about her and her life. Again, these are books. Dictionary of Midwestern Literature, not that crazy about these. Now this one, I don't know if that's going to be the same one we already saw. Here's a book. So whatever we found up here, I'm going to say that probably this one and this one, those first 2 are probably my best bet. And so now we've already found way more than you actually require for the assignment. So your job is to go through, look and find your information. I will go to one more database just to see. So I'm going to go to literature criticism. And I'm going to click on Read Convertible. Actually, let me not put in the quotation marks, and let's see what happens now. I'm telling you that you got to have that. And so in this one, it actually does have I went to the actual spot, so it's probably going to work pretty well. Let's see, what have I put on this one? It's scrolling, it's scrolling. Okay. So again, once I start not understanding the titles, that might or might not be something I want to use. Both of these we've already seen, so these articles are repeating. We saw them in other articles. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, and if you have done Read Convertible for your story, then you should be loving me right now because I have helped you find a lot of your work. And if you aren't doing Read Convertible, again, do the same thing with the other stories, and that will help. Oh, one more thing about Read Convertible. Okay, one more thing. Are you still with me? I hope you didn't end the video. All right, one more thing about Read Convertible. Now this is outside. This is a different set of databases. So stick with me. I'm going to go over here, and in this case, I'm going to Google, and I'm going to type in the words Vietnam War. I'm going to type in PTSD, whoops, and I'm going to type in Native Americans. All right. These, you're going to notice that these articles, here's one from JSTOR. I don't know, if you cannot get into an article like this, ask the librarian to pull it for you. Okay? So in this story, okay, what we're looking at is, yes, we're looking at two brothers. You'll see that the theme is brotherhood. I get that. But brotherhood is not going to get you a 1,500 word essay that's going to be sort of at the level I'm expecting you to write. Now, maybe you can. If you want to do it that way, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying that the research quality of two brothers without the focus on the Native American is probably going to come up somewhat as a general essay. So, looking at war from a Native American aspect, and so you're going to find that these are the government so this is PTSD, VA, the Veterans Association, government, okay? So this is the kind of article, this would also count for your story. And one thing I don't want you just Googling PTSD, because there's a difference between PTSD for a car wreck, which is certainly a valid form of PTSD, or getting fired from your job, or an accident, and PTSD in war. So I would really appreciate if you're doing this story, make sure that you're looking at some of the different things that might be related here to why, particularly Vietnam, and Vietnam is different from Iraq. It was a different time, a different place, a different situation. And so you want to consider some of these things too. All right, people, I'm going to stop now, and I hope I have been helpful.